Hi everybody, it's Tom Woods, February 10th, 2014. I wanted to let you know what's going on with Professor Walter Block of Loyola University, New Orleans. So let me give you the background. A few years ago, Walter gave a speech at a university in Baltimore in which he said, almost in passing, that he did not believe that discrimination was the primary explanatory factor accounting for income differences between various racial groups and between men and women. Well, this may sound controversial, but it's actually not that controversial when you review the literature, which in fact Professor Walter Williams did in a recent book called Race and Economics, How Much Can Be Blamed on Discrimination. And Professor Williams basically said, not a whole lot, as it turns out, contrary to popular belief. Well, of course, Walter was pilloried for this, for saying this, back home in New Orleans by the faculty and the president there. Oh, Walter's a terrible person, and we're all against racism here. And so they automatically assume that there must be racism at work. They haven't even talked to Walter. They have no idea what was said. They're getting a secondhand report. There's no video. There's no transcript. They have no idea. Here's Walter, who's got more peer-reviewed articles than, I don't know, half their faculty put together. I mean, he has hundreds and hundreds of peer-reviewed articles. You'd think he would deserve the benefit of the doubt before you denounce him for violations of political correctness, but no. He's treated like garbage. They go on the attack. They treat him in a way they would never have treated a left-wing professor. Could you imagine a Jesuit university abandoning all scholarly standards and all standards of basic decency with a left-wing professor? No, of course they'd rush to his defense. He must have been misunderstood, whatever. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. No, they couldn't rush out there fast enough to let everybody know that we members of the faculty are against racism. So in other words, right away, they're stacking the deck against Walter. So Walter gets back, his character is being impugned, and he says, well, look, if I'm really spreading such terrible ideas, you can help to get rid of them forever by debating and defeating me. Go ahead, defeat me in a debate. I'll debate you, any one of you faculty members, anytime you want, anywhere you want on this general subject. Of course, not one of these cowards took him up on it because, they may be politically correct thought controllers, but they're not stupid. They know they would have had their heads handed to them by Walter, so no one would debate him. So Walter said, all right, no one has the courage to debate me, then I will hold a university-wide public lecture in which I will actually explain my views and defend myself. And again, not one of these cowards bothered to show up or ask him a question. Well, now Walter's in trouble from the New York Times, which, of course, we all know has never distorted the views of anybody it disagrees with, because the Times is claiming that Walter thinks that slavery wasn't so bad. Walter Block, the Libertarian, thinks slavery wasn't so bad. Well, when you look at it, what Walter is actually saying is that the problem with slavery was that people were forced to do it. The problem with slavery wasn't the labor. A lot of people have to work very hard. The problem with slavery was that people were forced to do it against their will. That's why libertarians are against things, because they involve anything that involves forcing people to do something they don't want to do. Well, slavery is the worst example of that. So that was Walter's point. Not that slavery isn't so bad. I mean, you'd have to have an IQ about 45 to draw that conclusion. But, don't worry, the president of Loyola University and members of the faculty were on the case. They were sure to rush out there and let us all know where they stood on slavery in the year 2014. And you know what? They're against it. Oh, what a relief, because I know we were all dying to know. I wonder where the Loyola University faculty stand on the slavery question in 2014. And, as a matter of fact, I often wonder about people who are so eager to unbosom for the world their opposition to slavery in the year 2014, whether those people would have had the guts to be against slavery, when it actually meant something, like in the year 1850, when 2% of the electorate was willing to vote for an abolitionist political party. Where do you think Walter's critics would have been then? Who are so eager to let the world know that they've got all the conventional and approved opinions. Where would they have been in 1850? Would they have had the guts to be against slavery then? No, of course not. They would have been tut-tutting Walter, who you're darn right would have been against slavery in 1850. They would have been saying, tut-tut, this man doesn't have respectable views. Let's make sure and write a letter to the college paper so that everybody knows we have the approved views. Now look, let's help out Walter. He's a good, decent man, a good scholar who's made enormous contributions to his field. Let's stick by Walter. Let's write to the university president. Let's let them all know how we feel about their disgusting and despicable treatment of this great man and scholar. Spread this video around and make sure people know what's going on. I got all the information, how to write to the college president. I got the link to that lecture that Walter gave when the cowards didn't dare debate him. I got all this stuff and more on a special page I just set up, tomwoods.com/Walter. All right, that's it for this video. If you're not already, make sure you are subscribing to my weekday podcast, The Tom Woods Show, on iTunes and Stitcher. You can get the links for that at tomwoodsradio.com. Walter is a guest on that program. He will be a guest again in the future, and he and I are going to continue to enjoy setting fire to the 3x5 card of approved opinion. So check that out, tomwoodsradio.com, and help out Walter at tomwoods.com. Let's do the right thing for this good man.